Madam Speaker, in Joe Biden's America, 70% of Americans describe this economy as poor. And it's not hard to see why that is. Inflation is at a 31-year high. This makes it harder for everyday Americans to purchase everyday items. It's also wiping out wages. Gas prices alone are at a 7-year high. American families are facing the most expensive Thanksgiving on record. And the backlog of ships that are waiting to deliver goods has grown by 43% since President Biden promised to fix our supply chain crisis last month. Yet here we are, about to consider the most expensive bill in American history. And we're doing this instead of addressing the real problems that are facing real Americans. Democrats are now doubling down on these failed tax policies, the failed tax and spend policies that will make Joe Biden's economic crisis even worse than it is now. President Biden once said, "Show me your budget and I'll tell you what you value." Well, the bill before us today makes one thing clear. Democrats value millionaires and billionaires over blue-collar workers and American families. The Democrats' big government socialist spending spree, it provides tax cuts of up to $25,900 for millionaires, home buying and child care subsidies for couples making over $200,000, and electronic vehicle subsidies for couples who bring in more than $500,000 a year. Those are the values of my colleagues across the aisle. And in total, there are $250 billion in tax breaks for the top 1%. So who will be paying for the wealthy to buy a new mansion or maybe put a new Tesla in their 5-car garage? It's easy. It's going to be middle-class Americans. It's going to be working families who have to subsidize these extravagances. The left-leaning Tax Policy Center found that this bill would raise taxes on middle-class Americans by 30%. That doesn't even factor in the hidden tax of inflation that's over 6% now. This tax scheme will also destroy up to 1 million U.S. jobs. So just like millionaires and billionaires, China benefits from this bill. Thanks to a ban on domestic mineral production and policies that make it better for a foreign business or worker it makes it better for foreign businesses to manufacture outside the United States rather than right here in America. Far left news organizations also luck out with a new tax cut, while millions of illegal immigrants will be granted amnesty and will be eligible for $45,000 a year in government benefits. Butterflies, freshwater mussels, and desert fish also receive millions of dollars in this bill. There's even a $2.5 billion, there's also $2.5 billion for so-called tree equity. So how about middle-class Americans? We already know that they'll be paying more in taxes and seeing fewer economic opportunities, but surely there's something in this bill for them. Well, for starters, Democrats are hiring 87,000 new IRS agents to spy on their bank accounts. Their proposal will double the chance of being audited, with nearly half of all audits hitting families making less than $75,000 a year. The Democrats are also implementing big government socialist price control schemes on prescription drugs, meaning that fewer cures and fewer treatments will be available for seniors and for patients. Also, thanks to a natural gas tax and more than $550 billion spent on new Green New Deal policies, Americans can expect to pay higher prices for home heating costs, electricity rates, and gas prices. And keep in mind that heating bills are already expected to be up as much as 54% for some American households this winter. So if President Biden's words are true, and a budget is demonstrative of values, then it's very clear what my friends across the aisle value. And that's millionaires and billionaires. It's illegal immigrants. It's bugs and fish, even this concept of tree equity. Those are the values that are prioritized in this budget over the concerns and the needs of everyday Americans, middle class and working class families. So the Democrats' big government socialist spending scam, It's full of radical far-left priorities and will further fuel the highest inflation and the highest spike in prices that we've seen in 4 decades. And sadly, it's going to be American workers, job creators, and families who will be forced to foot this bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And with that, I reserve the balance of my time.